to discuss what GPMS is, again, to redefine what GPMS is, to show those that are maybe running towards changing their own government, local government, and thinking that's got an impact upon the system, or believing that that will have an impact upon the system, and showing them that, you know, it's great, but it's not a change. There's no way you can change the system from a little piece in the middle, even though that's what you believe you are doing. Again, this isn't negating what anybody is doing. It's all divinely perfect. But in believing that actually changing this little knob here changes the whole aspect of the system or has any impact upon it is kind of mute. And yet we've explained this when I've sat with the ones I'm speaking of, and two, I've sat with them many times, and they've all agreed in the moment and then left and fallen back into that smaller aspect and not seeing this. And this is being left to us, basically. Well, you're in the Philippines now, Lee. You go out and tell everybody about GPMS. And of course, this isn't what our roles are. Our roles are to empower the leaders and empower those others to share GPMS. It's not to create the unity ourselves necessarily. It's to empower, share, and define and give perspective and explain GPMS to others so they can readily see it. And then the local people, the local people will see it and spread it through their own countries, which then allows the people to stand up because they recognize it. It's not being done for them, it's being done by them. So this is what's being missed. I've witnessed this being missed right now, is that, well, you're here, GPMS is your job. No, this isn't the case. What we do is give it to others. We share it with those that can see it, and then they share it through their own locals. Otherwise, it's the same. We're going to end up with the same leaders and everybody in the country following the system again. GPMS is the people standing up and the system becoming the people's. It's not going to be done by a few at GPMS, the guardians. It's going to be done by the people believing that they are free and knowing that they are abundant and that they are the owners and guardians of everything on this planet. They can't be told that by another and proclaimed, I'm proclaiming you're all free. Doesn't make freedom. The people proclaiming it themselves brings about that freedom. So this is what one of the things that we've been talking about in the way that we describe GPMS to others. It's not trying to get them to consent or trying to get them to sign necessarily. It's empowering them enough so that they want to share. They want to spread it. And then they stand up and become their own leaders. They become the leader, the one that's giving it out, and they create more leaders. And ultimately, everybody becomes the leader inside GPMS. So I think that's pretty much described a little bit of what we were talking about.
Yeah, well, it is the moral obligation of everyone, every speaker of the people and leader. It is the moral obligation to prioritize GPMS. National sovereignty and these sort of things do not work with any individual government, because the governments worldwide are all connected. And the reason that problem is there with any individual government is because this government is not individual. It's a network of governments worldwide that allow that government to inflict all of these violations of universal laws upon its people. So again, it becomes a moral obligation. Once they are aware of GPMS in this choice to prioritize and choose it, with any national sovereignty movement, no, unite your people under and with. I'll retract the word under. Unite your people with GPMS and give them the simple summary of what it is and the reasoning why. And also to let your people know every individual is obligated to choose the higher moral law of GPMS. Nothing else by anyone trying to go within a government and change it. The government is not moral. It's negative law. It is man-made artificial law, meaning that it's lesser than GPMS, and it just loops ones in the same old political capitalistic structure. It takes them nowhere. So everyone needs to be aligned and united with GPMS, and it becomes the obligation of any leader of the people in any country to prioritize GPMS. And we cannot be any more clearer and succinct on this. And if any leader in any country, any leader of the people, speaker of the people, do not understand the simplicity of the absolute morality of GPMS and the obligation for that one to give it to their people, please come and we'll give it to you simply once again. However, we should not need to do it. It is common sense, the absoluteness of what GPMS is, and what we encourage any speaker of any people in any country. This is the moral priority is GPMS, and it needs to be done now. The longer everyone procrastinates and do not unite their people with GPMS, each day 30,000 die senselessly around the world of starvation. And it's absurd to allow that to continue, and it's not acceptable. So unite the people worldwide now with GPMS. Don't go with your sovereignty and your national movements, because what you're actually doing is energizing the problem, and you stay there. You need to be fully solution oriented with GPMS in the most powerful, lawful structure ever upon the planet. Brother